Luck in getting that bus out?
Harry, that bus is out. Then there was another bus that was stuck. Here comes another bus. There are a lot of buses running. I guess that's the good news. And then we've seen an occasional taxi here, but the mayor, as you know, has banned traffic in Midtown. So far, there's still a few cars going. But here is one industrious woman, Sharon Thomas, and I must say she is one of about half a dozen people we have seen here who has chosen this particular method of transportation. I guess it's a stupid question to ask why, but where are you going?
I'm going back home now. I plan to ski to work today.
How often can you, or have you ever skied to work in Manhattan?
I never have skied to work in Manhattan. I've only worn my skis once before here in the city. It's great. I love skiing in the middle of the road.
Well, I can't remember another day they've banned traffic in the middle of the road, so at least there's less of risk of getting hit.
I hope the mayor doesn't stop me.
No, he would count on it. Just get going, go back home. Nice to see you. And now this woman over here, if we can come back this way, stop, because you've got a different kind of problem. It's not transportation, and you do look fairly warm, I must say.
It's not a problem. It's just that since last evening we haven't had our television, so we can't even watch Eyewitness News to see what's going on, so I came out to check it out.
Now, there's a problem. Is Mayor Giuliani watching? We had no Eyewitness News. What is it, a cable problem or an electrical
from the
problem?
world. It's Time Warner Cable in the West Side area, from what I can tell. We can't get through on the phone either, so...
Are you getting any channels at all?
No. Pay-per-view, but we don't want to pay-per-view.
I see. You can get the movies that you pay for. It's the only thing that's working.
Right, exactly.
Well, all right, so if Time Warner is watching, this woman and probably a lot of other people...
West 74th Street, Time Warner.
And are the kids home? I mean, that could be a bigger problem.
Yes, exactly, but now they'll have to go out and get their cross-country skis, too, so...
Well, good luck with the TV. Now, I want to do one other thing. Thank you for stopping, man. Over here, we've been following this guy. We showed you about 45 minutes ago a man trying to dig out his car. To give you an idea of what that ordeal is like, we're going to push the camera in. This is between Columbus Avenue and Broadway on 72nd Street. This guy with the shovel has been here now for almost an hour, and I would say conservatively, he is about halfway through getting his car dug out. That's the problem. Some of the cars that have been on the streets in Manhattan were actually towed away by the Department of Transportation when the snow emergency was declared overnight. And of course, there were an awful lot of other people who heard the forecast and moved their cars. But if you are faced with a car that is buried and that kind of a project, it is indeed going to be an ordeal for you. The good news, though, let's give it to you, the buses, as you've seen, as we've told you, appear to be running. They're not on schedule, certainly, for a regular weekday, but then there aren't that many people who are looking to use them. In any event, the buses seem to be working on all the lines. There's 5 different lines that come through this particular intersection. We've seen buses on all of them. If you come across here, you'll see there's the number 5. The guy's waving. He's waving. He's got the snow to deal with. He's got the passengers. He's probably behind schedule, and he's waving to us. That's the number 5 bus. It's actually the express bus, the limited. And then there's the 72 crosstown is going down that way, the 104, they've all been working. And the subways, these are the underground subways, of course, here, the number 1, the 2, the 3, the 9 lines. They are all working very close to schedule. There isn't anybody who's come out and said they're not. We were down there before, and the trains were working. So mass transportation, at least in Manhattan, appears to be somewhat reliable today, and that is the good news on a day when this may be a record snowfall. The latest is live from 72nd Street and Broadway. Harry and Bertha, back to you.
All right, Tim. Now
thanks,
make sure you keep following the man who is shoveling out his car for us this morning, because that's really going to be the story tomorrow, I think, as everybody starts digging out.
All right, thanks, Tim. Right now, we're going to check with Tim Fleischer, who is in New Rochelle in Westchester. It is still coming down heavily up there, and things are pretty deep where he is. Tim.
Bertha, let me tell you, they're not even thinking about digging out at this point because the wind is still heavy, the snow, or the wind is still high and the snow is still heavy at this point. Give you a good idea, nobody's coming to work. It's piled up against the door, the sidewalks, you can see the drifts here. Let me show you, we're going to walk around the corner here. I want to give you a peek down a side street here in New Rochelle, and you're going to see just how heavy the snow has been the better part of this morning. It's about knee-deep along the side street here. Look at the cars right there. They're just blanketed, and a snowplow hasn't even been through here yet. So you've got a good idea of how the conditions are here, and the conditions here in New Rochelle are indicative of the conditions throughout Westchester. As plows made another big pass through New Rochelle, this blizzard continued in full force. Heavy snow, high wind. Inside, though, in one of the few businesses to open, Anthony Felici was making coffee, a hot spot in this very chilly day.
I walked here about a mile into New Rochelle. Figure someone has to be open for these people around here, right? There's buildings all over the place. So it might as well be me.
And despite impossible conditions, Tito Rodriguez, earlier in the day, still had to trudge through it all to his job at New Rochelle Hospital.
It's very hard to walk. It's very hard. I don't know. I can't even talk.
Was walking the only way you could get to work?
Yeah, I leave my car at home, so I have to walk. It's the only choice.
Francisco Perez, too, was out plowing this parking lot.
We have to plow little by little because later I can plow because too much snow. Little by little, we have to do it.
Across Westchester, road conditions are poor. A state of emergency is in effect, and travel is not advised. There are also numerous accidents reported, many where cars like this one had slid off the road. And even plows fell victim to the heavy snow, a strong back and a shovel, the only way to dig out. And in some cases, even a broom and a little shovel. You've got an awful lot of snow here. Again, the side streets haven't even been touched in a great many places. A lot of the various towns report that they've only been able to work the main streets because those are the emergency routes. They have to get them open for the emergency cars. So consequently, the side streets are going to fall victim, at least for a short while. Also, I talked to a man a little while ago and asked him why he was out in all of this nasty weather again, because it's been blowing so much so, and the snow has been coming down rather heavily. And he said, you know, I've got a couple of elderly friends that I want to check on, and it sounded certainly that a very good idea. If you have an elderly friend or you have someone who is confined to their home, it might be worth either, you know, giving a phone call to, or perhaps even going over and knocking on the door if you're able to get out and move around, just to be able to check on people to make sure that everybody is safe and sound and they're dealing with this storm in a pretty good fashion. Reporting live from New Rochelle, I'm Tim Fleischer, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
All right, Tim.
Thank you, Tim.